Okay, so why shouldn't anybody be rich? Why there should be no rich people in the world? I mean, it's kind of common sense if people really think about it, but this way of living, the American way, and TV and so many things have us blinded to these things. We're under a spell in the first place with a lot of this. Like, we have to get more money. We have to have more money. We have to have more things to distract us from everything. And the reason that nobody should be rich is because all of us should be healthy and wealthy. And I'm not talking about wealthy in the sense of having any money. Every one of us should be wealthy in the sense of we have a house, we have food, water, shelter, clothing, and we have some things to do in our life, and we have enough. There should be nobody that has millions of extra dollars or billions of extra dollars. I mean, this is absolutely insane for anybody to be a millionaire or a billionaire. What man needs millions of dollars? What man even needs hundreds of thousands of dollars? There shouldn't even be a money system in the first place, but it's how it is. It's what we're in, and it just is how it is. I can't do anything about that, but I think the whole thing is absurd. Men who have created the money system, money in the first place, it was an evil thing to begin with. And I know I'm a part of this hypocrisy too, but I can see through this. I know what is going on now. I understand the fabric of this whole thing. And what is the point of one person having a mansion and 10 cars and 10 chains around their neck? It's greed. It's an overabundance. And it's not even that it's an overabundance. It's ignorant. Here's what I'm going to say. Anybody who wants to be rich, anyone seeking to be rich, anyone who is after getting rich is an idiot. They're a drooling idiot, and they have no idea why it is that they want to do that. They're just blinded by the mansions. They're blinded by the material goods. They're blinded by the women. Oh, I can get a lot of women if I have money. I can get this. I can get that. Let me tell you, money is not going to fill any type of void in your life. Yes, money can pay your bills, Yes, money can help you get things that you may need to have. Yes, money might do those things. But the more money you have, the more problems you have. It's just like the song, Mo Money, Mo Problems. The more money you have, the more problems you have. The more things you have, that's the more that you have to be responsible for those things. That's the more that you have to make payments on those things. It's the more that you have to do more paperwork, and you have to just do all kinds of extra shit to keep all that stuff going. So that's why I would rather be a minimalist. I would rather have as less as possible to survive and to get on. I don't want a huge house to live in. Give me maybe a 2-room apartment with a big closet, a kitchen, a sink, and a bathroom, and I'm good. Why do I need a ton of extra space? It's a waste. The wealthy are a waste. Put it that way. The wealthy are a waste. And I'm telling you, We are so blinded today. We are under a spell, is what I've been saying lately. So many of us are under this spell of money, under the spell and influence of bullcrap music where the lyrics don't say anything at all, nothing productive, nothing of any value, nothing that's going to help us help one another. It's just all about violence. It's all about killing, destroying, hurting someone else so that you look bigger. Oh, I'm a tough guy, so I have to be tougher than this guy. And it's just men doing this little fighting thing amongst each other. Who can be the bigger man? Who can lift more weights? You know, who can look better? Who can have more of a six-pack? Who can do this and shave better? Who can have a better haircut? And it just never ends. It never ends. And, you know, when we're like this, how are we supposed to take each other for who we are and what we are? How can you take me how I am if you're continually on this type of bullshit? How can you come as you are in this type of arena? Around these types of people, around this American way? How can you be yourself? How can you come as you are? When you come around, you have to think that you have to be a certain way for these people because this is what they conditioned you with. This is what they have you under a spell with. They have people caught in this thing where they're hypnotized. People are hypnotized today. They're hypnotized. They're hypnotized and they're under a spell to be drooling idiots. And it's just the way it is. There's ignorance. Ignorance rules the land. Ignorance is in charge most of the time. Not all the time, but most of the time it is. You know, money is a piece of it's made out of, I think it's cotton and linen. I think it's 75% cotton and 25% linen. Now I'm not sure. I think that's what it is. I'm not exactly sure, but I know I looked it up before because I look into everything that I talk about. I look into every subject that I get on and I speak on. And even these famous people that everybody looks up to, even these rappers and these artists that talk about money all the time and talk about material things, and they brag about wealth and being rich and having the cars and the clothes and the money and the hoes and all this stuff, even they know that this whole thing is bullshit. Tupac, he even talked about, you know, what if you have a hotel full of empty rooms and we got sick people, dying people, starving people out on the street. It's like, let us in, you know, let us in, feed us, clothe us. What is the point of all this extra stuff? But people go, oh, well, that's the way America is. You know, we all have a choice whether we're going to be rich or poor, and we can, you know, make our own business, and this is the land of opportunity. Look, I understand all that stuff, but it still doesn't take away from the fact that this thing is wrong. That's all there is to it. It's just wrong. It's mostly wrong. I can't say all of this is, see, it's hard to describe to people when you're talking about a subject. There are things within the subject. I can't just say that all of this is wrong. You know, like the stores we go to, like we have to go somewhere to get things to eat. We have to, you know, have clothes to buy that we wear. Now, we didn't have to do this from the beginning. Now, I know this is off subject from money, but listen, let me tell you something. I was watching something, I forget if it was on the Joe Rogan podcast or whatever, but you know how we have peeping toms and perverts and people that have these fetishes and stuff in the world. Tribes don't have that problem. People that grew up naked amongst one another don't have that problem. People that see each other's private parts and women that have their breasts hanging out don't have that problem. So why do we clothe ourselves in this day and age when we're coming up? Why? It's creating peeping toms. It's creating perverts. It's creating fetishes. It's creating all types of sexual perversions. Do you understand? If we would just grow up amongst one another naked and we would all tell each other our problems and we would discuss things and we would tell each other what's really going on, then there wouldn't be so many of these problems that we create. We are creating the problems ourselves. We are protecting ourselves from ourselves. Now, I wrote something in my notebook. I don't know exactly what I wrote, but it goes something like this. We dropped the atomic bomb on people because people caused this to happen for people. Now that's not what I wrote in my notebook, and that's not how I wanted to say it. We dropped the atomic bomb on people because of what people did and what we do. It's our fault. You see, this whole thing is like implosion. We are the problem. We are the reason that all of these wars have happened. We are the reason that there is so many bad things and corrupt things. We're creating this ourselves. Humans are creating all of this chaos and absurdity and all these things that are not needed. We just keep creating them and we keep it going and we keep bringing the next generation of drooling idiots into this world that don't learn anything. They're just copying their brothers and sisters and mothers and fathers and friends and other countrymen and all this shit. They're just copying everybody else. And they're doing the same exact things. Look at history. Just look at history. It's a repeating hazard. And the thing, like I said, with the atomic bomb, we dropped the bomb on people. People that had nothing to do with their war, with people's war. It's so crazy when you think about this whole thing. When you think about how all of this is set up and you think how this is ran and you understand and realize that we have been duped here. We have been lied to about everything. Nothing is as it seems. It's all a smoke screen. Once you wake up from this stuff, you will never be the same person. Never. It's impossible. You can't go back to any of this stuff again because you realize how bullshit it is. You realize that it's a lie. You realize that it's men creating their own problems. Men and women are creating their own problems. They are creating their own worlds of havoc, and they don't even realize it. Like these rappers, I don't feel sorry for any of these rappers that they talk about violence in their music, and then, it comes around. Because look what they're talking about. Listen to their lyrics. Listen to what they're saying to you and other people. And The thing with music lately with me, another off-topic thing, is lyrics are irrelevant anymore. I'm talking about damn near all the time. Lyrics are just complete garbage. They're completely irrelevant. Nobody is saying anything. Nobody's talking about nothing but violence, stupid, ignorant shit. Nothing that does anything of any value. There's nothing there. It's dead speaking. You might as well be spitting into the wind, and the wind is blowing back in your face, and the spit just goes right back in your face. That's how I see it. Like these words that these guys and these women are saying, they're just spitting out, and it's just flying back into their face. But they don't realize that that's what's going on, because they're under a spell. They are under this delusion that money is going to save them, that they're somehow better than people because they have money. They're somehow above other people because, they're somebody because they're famous. They're popular, they're known. All that fame and clout shit and saying I have fans, all that shit is bullshit. This whole thing with saying my fans is even bullshit, because you know what? Fans are the drooling idiots. They are what is wrong with what's going on, because they're supporting these idiots. They're supporting the ignorance. They're supporting the violence. They're supporting these people's message. They're supporting the over-sexualized, overdone, over-executed, it's just overly done. Everything they do, it's just way too much. And so many people know this. Listen, let me tell you this. See, most people don't understand this. Just because there's, let's say, a couple 100 million people that listen to this garbage, there are 7.7 billion people in the world. Billion people. So if, say, 500 million people are listening to this junk, and they're hypnotized by this stuff. They're in a spell. They listen to this garbage every day, day in, day out. It goes into their brain. They have it in there, and they want to emulate this life. They want to be something like that. Okay, there's still 7.2 billion people in the world. It's like they have nothing to do with what I speak about. It's not my crowd of people. And you know what? I'm not trying to save anybody. I'm not trying to change anybody's minds. If they want to do that themselves, if they want to say, look what I'm into, look what I'm actually doing to myself, look how foolish this really is, then they have to do that for themselves. I can't do nothing about it, but I know that it's not my crowd of people. They have this delusion in their head that they can just talk about guns, and they can talk about violence, and they can talk about all these things that are like an abomination to mankind and themselves. But they can't even see it because they're under this spell. They're under this spell of not understanding that the very things that they're saying are just pure evil. It's just pure wickedness. And it ain't that I made it like this. I didn't do this. I didn't make it to be like this. It just is what it is. You don't realize these are people. These are people like me and you. Your mama and your cousin too. It's all of us are people. And would you want to get shot and killed? Would you want to get beat to death? Would you want to get pulled out of your car like the LA riots and get beat with a brick and almost die or die? Would you want to get strung up and hung to death? Would you want to get shot with a rifle, an AK-47, a shotgun? Would you want somebody doing something to your family, to your people that you know? So why are you doing it then? You know, do you talk to your mother and your grandmother this way? That you speak like you do when you're rapping these songs and you're talking about guns and you're talking about all these bad things? Would you talk to your mom or your dad like that? Then why talk to me like that? And anyway, I'm getting off of this topic because, look, people are going to listen to what they listen to, and a lot of people, like I said, are just in denial. There's so many people that are just in denial of the facts of life, and they don't care until something happens to them. Why do you think you have these rappers and these musicians and these other people? They go almost, years and years talking about this stuff, and then they have a change of metaphorical heart. They stop either rapping about stuff or they just give up on it. You know why they did? Because something happened to them. You see, all that shit that they were talking, all that stuff that they were putting out, it came back around to them. And then they said, you know what? Now I see what I was doing. It's just all based on ignorance. It's just all based on stupidity, ignorance. Just drooling idiots are just everywhere around this world. And nobody, I don't want to call myself a teacher, but nobody is making people understand these kinds of things. There is nobody that is stepping up to the plate in this arena. I don't want to be an antagonist. And that's not even what I am. I'm just calling this stuff out for what it really is. It's just that most people don't want to face it. Most people don't want to accept that they are the ones causing problems for themselves and other people. They are the abomination themselves. They are what is wrong with this world. And why? Why do you have to be like that? Like, don't you want something in your life that you can live for? Like, say you're someone that likes watermelons and you grow watermelons for a living. Or you like building houses and you build houses and you build them the best that you possibly can. It's like, don't we want to make our lives as the best we can without hurting anything else? There's something a Menham said. I'm going to try to quote what he said. He said, all that you can do is do what you can do without causing the least bit of pain, without causing screaming horror, without making something scream in horror. I don't know exactly. I'm not good at remembering quotes. I write them down all the time. I write little stuff myself all the time, but I can't remember exactly what I wrote. But as long as we are doing whatever we can to prevent screaming horror, then that is all that we can possibly do while we're here. But yet most of us, we're just contributing to the horror, and we don't even realize that we're doing it. We don't even realize that we are the ones that is contributing to the madness, to the cruelty, the violence, the bloodshed, the hurt, the pain, the suffering. We're creating this. We are creating a lot of this. Now, I'm not saying that we're creating all of it, but most of it we are creating. Men are creating this for themselves. us striving and trying to accomplish things. There is no such thing as accomplishing or fulfillment. There is only temporary needs being met. That's all there is. It's temporary needs being met. You know, we're striving for something all the time. And in that striving is our pride, our ego, a sense of that we're so important that we have to crush something else or destroy something else so that we can look like we're something. We have to talk down upon another man or woman or act like we're so tough, act like we're some sort of macho person that we can just do whatever, and that somehow makes us better. It's so ignorant and so stupid when you think about this. There is no returning to it. I could never, ever, you will never, ever hear me talking about guns or shooting people or sticking something up or robbing someone or stealing something and all this stuff that is just, yet again, I say, would you want that done to you? See, most people, they don't realize it until it's at their front door, at the front of their abode. They won't realize these things. And this is what makes me sick to the pit of my stomach, is that we just don't realize how ignorant we are. We don't realize how insane and how cruel and how vicious and how bloodthirsty we actually are as people, as human beings. And it makes me sick. I shudder. I shatter. I am broken. I am torn to pieces. I am absolutely squished to a pulp, having to empathize with this and empathize with idiots that don't realize that they're idiots. Empathizing with violent people that don't realize that they're violent. Empathizing with cruel men and women that don't realize that they're cruel. They might know what they're doing is cruel, but they don't care until it happens to them or somebody that they know or someone that they care for. Oh, then it's a problem, you know? Then it's a problem. When it comes to you, oh, well, you did this to me, now I got to do something to you. But weren't you just talking about the same thing? Weren't you just thinking the same thing? You know, it's like when these guys in these gangs and stuff, someone gets killed, then they go, oh, you killed my friend or my brother. You killed my homeboy. Well, weren't you after the same thing? Don't you see the hypocrisy in this? Don't gang members and other people, and I'm not calling anybody out because this is not how I roll, because I don't want to be involved with it. I don't care to be involved with it. It's not something that I associate myself with, but I'm saying you don't think about these things. This doesn't come across your brain. You don't ever sit and think about any of this. I mean, I just don't know how people do not think about this stuff. It really makes me wonder a lot. And what can I do? It's like you can't do anything but bring it up, and it's up to the person that is listening to it to actually prevent or not to do what I'm saying for themselves. I don't have any control. I can't go and change everybody. I can't save the world. You know, I can't do any of them things. And this is what I mean when I say I am broken. I am shattered. I am utterly destroyed by what I know is going on, but they don't see it. They're blind. They're under a spell. They're under hypnosis. They're hypnotized. You know, why do you think the group 3-6 Mafia calls themselves Hypnotized Minds. Because they got y'all idiots hypnotized by their music. They got you hypnotized by drugs, violence, money, all the lavish type lifestyles. They got you hypnotized by this shit. And look what happens. Look what happens. You don't want anything to change. You don't want the bloodshed to stop. You don't want the bad things to stop. Because if you did, you would not associate yourself with these kinds of things if you really wanted it to stop. So don't give me that shit that you want it to stop, or you're tired of this life and you're tired of living this way and you can't do this anymore. Then you go right back to the stuff. You go right back to the vomit that you just spewed out your mouth and you eat it again. It's just like the pig returning to its own slop. It's that metaphor. It's like you vomit and then you go right back to the vomit. And you know how many times, do you know how many times I did that myself? I listened to this bull crap and I heard it for what it was, and I knew deep down, I knew in my thoughts that it was wrong, and what I was doing, there was nothing there. It was just complete and utter nonsense. Yet I kept returning to it because I was under a spell. I thought that there was something there. I thought that being this tough guy, being this person that had money and fame and all this stuff, that was somehow going to make me something big or something that people would look up to, and all this insanity and crazy stuff. I can't even describe to you it's very hard to describe to people that have not yet come to this realization. You can't really tell them because they're not listening. It's not there. They're in another world. Their delusions are full blown what they think. They think that this stuff is cool. They think that it's cool to be somebody tough, to be somebody big, to be somebody scared of. All that you're doing is you're bringing drama to you. You are bringing enemies to you. You are bringing other people that are after the same thing, that are doing the same violent shit. You're bringing that right to you. And I don't even like talking about this stuff. I don't even like bringing it up. But the more that I go on in life, it seems like this is kind of taking over the realm of, like, it's on phones, it plays in people's car, it's all over the place, it's all over the internet, it pops up on, it looks like something cool, it looks like something that, I can vibe with this or get on this and jump on this bandwagon. They make it look pretty, they make it look good, they make it look shiny, they make it look like, there's nothing wrong with saying a bunch of wrong stuff. This is the way that I express myself, and I get all this shit out of me, and I got out of the hood because I did this. And now, but you're still rapping about the same nonsense. You're still talking about the same shit that you just came from, and you're telling other people about that shit. So nothing has done anything. Nothing has changed. There's no ceasing to do what you did before. It's just the same bowl. You just moved to a different part of the bowl of soup, of vegetable soup. You just went being by the carrot and the pea to being by the corn and the whatever, tomato. That's all. And I know how people's thinking thinks. I know how people think about this because I did this. I've been there. I done it. I went through it 1,001 times. And I know after a while, it took me a while to accept these things and to realize what they really were, and to understand that there's nothing there for me at all. There's nothing to gain. There's nothing to... It's just all one big delusion and spell that we're under, thinking that there's something there. Like, we think that this stuff is cool, but we know that it's not. We know that it's not cool. And I know how mankind, I know how prideful men think. I know how egotistical men and women think. I know how somebody that has this belief system in their mind, and they think that they're somehow, better than others, or they're chosen, or they're more than, or they think that they're tougher than the world. Listen, all that is bullshit. If I put any of you in the middle of the woods, in the middle of nowhere, with no food, no shelter, or let's say I put you in the middle of the Sahara Desert with lions and cheetahs and elephants and rhinos and hyenas, and I put you in the middle of the Sahara Desert, all of us are the same. How long are you going to survive? With no food, no water, no shelter, how long will you survive? There is no tough people here. If you get cancer, just say out of nowhere, you're not that tough. You can't beat cancer in your body. See, we all have this imaginary bullshit in our head that we're somehow tough, that we're somehow tough men. And we have balls of steel and nobody can stop us, and we're cool because we're tough. We're cool because we have our pride and nobody can hurt me. It's just absolutely ridiculous. You have no idea how fragile we all are. That you are, that I am, that everybody is. Fragile. We're fragile. I can break just as easy as you. There is no such thing. It's all just a smoke screen. It's all a mask and facade that somebody's tough and they're a cool guy that got it all together and all this. No, none of it is real. It's all just, it's a big show. It's a big show and a big joke to me. You're not proving anything to someone that understands and has knowledge and has went through the whole philosophical, religious, spiritual, whatever phase. You're not proving anything. You're not proving nothing. It's almost like, how can you, if you don't admit that you are stupid and you're an idiot and you did all these dumb things like I did, and I admitted that to myself, then how are you ever going to tell yourself that you're not them things? If you never told yourself that you're dumb, you're stupid, you're unintelligent, then how will you ever become intelligent or understand anything when you haven't even admitted to yourself that you're all these things? Because it's just how it is. We're told this stuff from when we're born. We're told a bunch of idiotic, stupid shit. We're conditioned with all this bullshit to think that we're tough, to think that we're somehow getting ahead of somebody else if we have more money and all this. None of that is going to save any of us. It's not going to save you. It's not going to save me. We're all going to the same place as people. Some people will just be here a little bit longer. Some will be a little more healthier than another person. And yet again, when we're talking about well-being here, none of that stuff is well-being. None of it. What does it do for you and me? What does it do for you and me talking about shooting and killing each other? What does it do for you and me selling potent drugs to one another that ruin our lives and our families' lives? Are you going to be the one that's in the hospital with your friend when he gets shot and paralyzed and he has to eat through a straw? Are you going to be there? Are you going to be there when somebody you know gets hurt real bad and you were with them because you thought that you were so cool. You thought you were so tough and so hard, and you were rapping and talking about all this stuff all over your phone and the internet. Are you going to be there when the shit hits the fan? No, you're not going to be there. You're going to run from it, or you're going to say, my goodness, what did I do? What did I get myself into? How did I get here? Because you don't realize that from the start you've been duped, you've been played, you've been tricked, you were under a spell. They had you under hypnosis. Don't you realize this? Snap out of it. It's time to snap back into reality, y'all. These people that we look up to and that we worship, these celebrities and these famous people, it's all a smokescreen. It's all bullshit. They got you following. They got you paying for their lavish lifestyles. They got you right by the balls. And we look up to this. We look up to this like it's something good. Like it's something that has value. Like it's something to look forward to. It's right there in front of our face. We just can't see it. Or we just are in denial of it and we don't want to see it. Because we think if we give that up, that there's going to be nothing else to live for. That there's going to be nothing else to do. There's other things to talk about other than guns and violence and drugs and money and mansions and clothes and cars. There's other stuff to talk about. You just have to think. You have to use knowledge that you get. But most people don't want to learn anything because they're lazy and they're stupid. And they just want to take this easy road of just acting like everybody else, being like everyone else, and just being a drooling idiot. That's all. That's all it comes down to. And I know because I did all of this. I went through all of this. I listened to the same junk. I let it go in my brain. I let it influence me. I thought that it was cool. I thought that, oh, I want to be like, I want to be like this guy and this girl and this person. I want to be like this celebrity. I want to be like this musician and all this. And now I don't want to be like any of them. I don't want to be like any of them. And I mean any. But do you know who I do and who I'm going to be like? Is me. And I'm going to look into things for myself. And I'm going to study for myself. I'm going to gain the knowledge for myself to discern things when they come. You see, and this is what most people don't do. Because they're lazy. They're stupid and they're conditioned and they're under a spell yet again. But most people to look at me like I'm the crazy guy. Like I'm the one that is just, oh, I have nothing else to do but sit here and talk about, you have nothing else to do but sit here and talk about me. Someone that talks about this and that. It has nothing to do with that. I know for myself where these things go. And I know what most people are getting themselves into before they get into it. I know all the roads that it leads to because I had so much shit happen and I told myself these things and I looked into it for myself and I watched other people. I watched things happen to people I know because they were involved with this. I have friends that their brothers are in jail for life for killing people. I have friends that they made a drug deal and they beat somebody and they got their face cut up. It's like when you do this shit, there's gonna be consequences. But most people just think, oh, it's cool. I can do that. I can say some words and I can talk about this and that on social media and I can put stuff out on the internet and I can just keep doing all this and getting away with it because I'm a young man or I'm a young woman and I'm full with pride and I'm arrogant and I'm cocky and I don't think nothing can happen to me. I'm telling you, I'm telling you, you have no idea where you're heading. You have no idea what you're doing to yourself. And I know you won't take it from me because you don't, nobody listens. Nobody listens. They're too arrogant. They're too prideful. They're too cocky. They're too egotistical. They think they're too cool to listen to someone who isn't a fool, someone who isn't ignorant, someone who does have knowledge, someone who has studied philosophy and everything pertaining to life. You know, no, they don't want to listen to that because it's not cool. It's not the cool thing to do in the music game. It's not the cool thing to talk about in rap. It's not the cool thing to put out on social media. It's not the cool thing to show people on the internet or on YouTube. It's not the cool thing. I mean, have we become... I really wonder what parents are telling their kids. Like, what are people learning today? It's just all that we're doing is fools are teaching fools to be more foolish. That's all it is today. It's drooling idiots teaching drooling idiots to be more of a drooling idiot. And listen, I do not like talking about this stuff. I really don't. Like, I'm even kind of cringing doing this. I don't even know if I'm going to put this, I don't even know if I'm going to upload this or let other people hear it. Because I'm almost ashamed of it. I am to the point where I just see how ignorant and stupid all of this is, and yet people think that this is cool. They think that this is some kind of valuable thing, like this is something to look up to. I mean, it just blows my mind away. It just literally blows my mind like a shotgun, boom, blowing up right in my face. That's how it feels. I can't even explain the feeling when you just know where people, they're putting themselves in their own bad predicaments. They're setting themselves up for disaster. They are literally the ones creating their own problems for themselves, and they cannot even see this. They're completely blind. They're completely hypnotized by the spell of spells. And it ain't just one thing. Listen, I'm trying to tell you this. There is a smoke screen within a smoke screen within a smoke screen. And most people have not even yet admitted to themselves that they are a part of the problem. They haven't even admitted that they are part of the hypocrisy, and they're a part of the problem, and they're a part of the violence and all this stuff. So how the hell are they going to see beyond the number one smoke screen when there's about 5 or 6 of them, and then there's the brick wall, that the facade and the mask and putting on for people? You have to get past, there's many levels to this. It ain't just, oh, I see the smoke screen and there's something behind it. It's not that simple. I'm telling you, there is a smoke screen behind a smoke screen behind a smoke screen, and then there's a brick wall, and then there might be another obstacle. And then you're like, oh my gosh, all of these things were blinding me and were keeping me ignorant and were keeping me stupid the whole time, but I just didn't realize it because nobody told me about it. There was nobody there to listen to. There was nobody that could discern these things, that could tell me about it for myself. You see, I'm not a teacher. I can't do anything for you. I don't have the answers. I don't have any answers. I don't have anything that I teach. I don't have any resolution for you. I don't have anything. Nothing. Zero. All that I'm saying is I'm telling you my experience with all this. And I'm telling you, you just don't know what you're getting yourself into. You don't realize the wickedness that you're a part of. You don't realize how you can fuck up your whole life in a split second. I'm talking about a split second. You can fuck up your whole life, because I did this many times. But yet again, nobody wants to listen. Everybody just, when things are going the way that they think it should go, when things are, they just seem like nothing can happen to you and everything's cool and I got this together because my pride is telling me I got this together. You are getting set up for the Mike Tyson uppercut that you will never see coming. You will never see it coming. And you will remember what I said. You will remember what somebody similar to me said to you. You're gonna remember it. I'm telling you, you're gonna remember it, because I remember people telling me, like my mom telling me years and years ago, Nathan, never try the drugs and you'll never know what it's like to be on them. But no, I wasn't listening. I thought that I could just, if I did it, I could beat it. I could just solve it myself and everything would be cool. Let me tell you, it was the knockout punch coming, but I didn't listen. I was the cocky fighter that said, I can't get hit. I can't get hit by that uppercut. And it happened. I was the guy that said, I could just do whatever I want to do. And then I did some things. And shit happened to me because I was cocky. I wasn't listening to people that went through it and it happened to. And it's like there's got to be somebody that is warning people. There has to be somebody that is an antagonist, somebody that's going against the grain of what people think is the right thing to do or what is cool to do. Listen, anybody talking soft and gentle to you, they are the mischievous ones. Remember that. Anyone who is coming to you with this soft language, saying, oh, I love you so much, or they speak to you like they're your best friend and they never even seen you or talked to you before, be very wary of these people. These are people that are hiding something. These are people that come to you in sheep's clothing, but they're wolves. They're ravening wolves inside. I'm telling you, I know how mankind is. I know how people is. And then you wonder, how can you not be paranoid sometimes? How can you not be weary of mankind when you know how mankind is? You know how mankind destroys themselves. I know how mankind gets themselves in these predicaments. I've already figured them out, but they haven't figured themselves out. They don't know that they are the wolves. They don't know that they are the ones that will bite right when the time comes where they have a chance to bite. You can give them the meat. You can give them shelter. You can give them knowledge. You can give them anything. But if something hasn't changed in your metaphorical heart of hearts, if something hasn't changed in your brain or your knowledge or your thoughts to where you know that these things are how they are, then you're gonna bite. You're just another wild animal that can snap or that can do something because someone's trying to teach you something. You know how there's a wild animal before you teach them to be tame or not attack? That's how humans are. They're like wild animals. And taming them, it takes a long freaking time for this to sink in, for them to actually understand this. Because you're coming at their pride, you're coming at their ego, you're coming at all of these things that they think that they need or they need to live by, and they never needed it in the first place. It was just a whole bunch of conditioned stuff that somebody told you when you were young or you were a child, and they stuffed it in your head and they made you believe it? Who made you believe these things? Who told you these things that you listen to? These songs and these musicians that you listen to, all the stuff that they told you, you listened to that and you believed it, and you thought that it was something cool or something to be like, because your brother listened to it, or a family member listened to it, or someone that you're a friend with, or in your hood, or your town, or your ghetto, or your suburbia. It doesn't matter where you're at. Someone said, yo, listen to this. Yeah, that's the shit. Yeah, listen to this. Yo, this is that shit. And then you're listening to it, and then you go to a club or you go somewhere, and then all that it does is it creates tension, it creates drama, it creates trouble, it creates violence. You know, some other guy listens to it, and then they look at you as you're their enemy. It's so stupid. It is so dumb. It's so dumb. And this is what I mean. People don't realize it. Fools don't realize that they are fools. Ignorant people don't realize that they're ignorant. You know? And then you bump this stuff in your car. You play these things wherever you go. And then you wonder why trouble comes to you. You wonder why these bad things come. Look what you're listening to. Listen to what you are listening to. Listen to what you're watching. What are you watching? What are you listening to? What are you being taught? What is the environment you're in? What is the people telling you that you're around? More than likely, you're listening to that stuff and you're believing it just because you're around those types of people. I'm telling you, break away. Break away. Get on your own for a while and get away from all of this stuff. And you will see over time, if you look into things for yourself and you have an open mind and you have common sense and you're somebody that knows that this is what can get me in trouble. This is what can get me hurt or killed. This is what can get me in a bad predicament. But some people just don't care. They don't care at all. I'm talking about the ones that actually want to prevent this from happening, that actually care for themselves and their health. Because some people, they just don't care. And I can't do anything for them people. You know, the best to them though. I don't have anything against them. I wouldn't be doing this if I did, because I wouldn't care. There would be no reason for me to even say any of this stuff. But like I said, I don't have anything else to live for but to say the real deal, Holyfield. I don't have anything else to live for but to speak reality and to actually tell people what they're getting, what they may be getting themselves into. It's not me for me to walk the walk for you, or talk the talk, or live your life, or show you the way. That's not what I'm doing here. I'm telling you for myself. All of this is stuff that I did myself. It's all stuff I got myself into, and I got in trouble. I had bad things happen, and I learned from them. And most people, they just don't realize that they are one step. They are one split second. They are one mishap from complete and utter disaster for the rest of their lives. Like I said, are you going to be there when your homeboy or your brother in arms gets shot and paralyzed? Are you going to be there in the hospital with him every day, feeding him and encouraging him to keep surviving and living? Are you going to be there for the mother that has to deal with that? The mother that's crying for her son? I'm telling you, man, y'all don't realize. We don't realize how wicked we really are. We just don't realize the shit that we get ourselves into. It's a paradox within itself. It's a foolish paradox. All these bad things happen, and we're wondering why they happen, because we did it to ourselves. We have all this bad shit go on, and we say, oh, well, where did that come from? How did I get myself into this situation? Because you got yourself into that situation because you didn't listen to people like me try to tell you this is what would happen until it's too late. And all it is, it's simply a prequisition. It's simply a warning. It's simply, I said prequisition. I'm pretty sure I think I know what that means, but maybe I'm wrong, because I'm willing to admit when I'm wrong. But this is just kind of like a disclaimer, a warning, hey, just a heads up for all of you out there that think you got this together and nothing's going to happen, and you're just going to keep talking about all this foolishness that you're talking about and nothing's going to happen. I'm just giving you a heads up, because you know what? You might not even care for yourself or the people that you're speaking against or you're thinking these things against, but guess what? Something in me does. And that's because I care for myself, and I care what I did to other people, and I care the things that I was thinking. So that's why I'm telling you about it. And I know nobody wants to hear it. You know, who are you? Who are you to tell me how to do anything? Who are you to tell me that I can't talk about this? Who are you to tell me that this can happen to me? Who are you? Who do you think you are? I'm a human that did the same exact shit. And I learned from it, and I had it happen, and I didn't keep going back to it like an idiot. I didn't vomit like I did a million times, and I went back to the vomit. Now I'm not returning to the vomit. I'm vomiting this stuff out of me, but I'm not going back to it again like most of y'all are. You're going back to your own vomit. You're vomiting and you're saying, how did this happen to me? Why does this keep happening? Why do I feel this way? Why don't I fit in anywhere? Why does this keep happening? How do I keep getting myself in this predicament? You're doing it to yourself. This is the biggest paradox, is we don't realize that we're doing these things to ourselves. That is the thing that people are blinded by. That is the thing that we are under a spell with, is that everything that we project, all that we're doing is we're projecting that back onto ourselves. When we think of something violent, all that we're doing is we're thinking about something violent to ourselves. But you think that you're doing it to another person. No, you're doing it to you. You just don't realize it. These ideologies that started all these wars, like Hitler and, every single war that was ever fought, it was all over some stupid ideology where someone thought that they were better, or they were the chosen people, or thought that they were more strong, or they had their shit together and they were the ones that God chose to lead the way and lead the people and all this stuff. And look what happens in the name of this pride. That's all it does, is people get killed. It's just bloodshed. It's just ignorance. And it just keeps going and going and going. Take out the battery, throw the battery down, and don't pick it up again. It's just like the metaphor with the man that keeps rolling the rock up the hill. And you're rolling it up the hill. And it falls down, and you go, oh my gosh, what happened? Why can't I push this rock up the hill? Why do I keep getting into these problems? How do I keep creating this stuff? Why do I keep getting caught up in drama? Why does all this shit keep happening? Oh, I gotta push the rock again. And you're pushing the rock up the hill again. And you're pushing it and you're like, oh, I think I got it this time. Yeah, I got it this time. I got this together. I know what I'm talking about. Yeah, nobody can stop. Oh, the rock slipped again and went the whole way down the hill again. Don't pick the rock up. Don't move the rock. Let the rock at the bottom of the hill. Walk away from the hill. Walk away from the rock. Don't touch it. Let it be. Let it alone. Move on. And stay away from the stupidity. Stay away from the things that are getting you in trouble. When they say this phrase like the streets calling, no, that is you being tempted by the spell. That is you being tempted by the hypnosis. That is what they mean by hypnotized minds. It's something that is tempting you to go back to the very thing that was causing you to be messed up, but yet it's like someone that returns to their vomit. You keep returning to the same stuff. I know because I did it. I did it thousands and thousands of times before I finally said, well, you know what? Maybe I shouldn't get involved. Maybe I should just stay away. Maybe I should get away from all these types of people and I should stop listening to these things. And I did that. I did that. And something finally clicked. I said, my goodness, I was doing this to myself the whole time. I was putting myself in these bad places. I was attempting to go back to the very thing that was destroying me, that was making me aggressive, that was making me think violent shit, that was causing me to think I was so cool and I couldn't be stopped and nobody could do anything. And I'm just this strong, tough guy that just got it all together. And I'm the shit and nobody can mess with me. It is such a false message. It is the smoke screen that's there that nobody can see past, because you have to first admit that you are doing these things. You have to admit that you are the one causing this for yourself. If you're in denial of that, then you are never going to get what I'm saying. If you're in denial of you being in denial, then you're never going to move past all of this terror and horribleness and chaos and you playing the victim because you're like, oh, well, what did I do to deserve this? Yet again, you did it to yourself. You put yourself in that predicament. You caused yourself to do these things because you had nobody to tell you. You weren't thinking. You weren't using your mind at all. And this is why pride and ego and a sense of I am special, and you have this belief system that you're somehow chosen or special. This is why this is so dangerous for us as people, because it puts us in these scenarios and these situations in our thoughts, and it makes us keep striving. It makes us to keep thinking that we're better than. We're rolling the rock up the hill. Oh, I got this. I'm better than everybody. I'm getting ahead of everybody in the world. I got this thing this time. Nobody's stopping me. And then, oh, the rock slips again and it goes back down the hill. And then you're like, oh, I got to go pick up the rock again. That's all. Just, a little slip happened. I messed up. But no, you're not going to realize until there's a bullet in your spine and you're paralyzed that you're not going to be able to even push the rock up the hill. You're not even going to be able to do anything, and you're going to need the help of somebody because you didn't listen. It ain't going to be until you get yourself into some real bad shit, like let's just say you get yourself into a really bad drug deal with some dangerous men, and then they're after you for the rest of your life. You could have prevented that. But the money had you fooled. The money had you in a spell. The money had you hypnotized. These rappers that are rapping this shit, all that they're rapping is the shit that they were hypnotized with. The shit that the generation before told them. And then they're passing it along. That's all they're doing. They're just passing all of their bullshit, all of their nonsense, all of their violence, all of their bad things, their bad habits and characteristics. They're just passing that on to all of y'all that are listening to this stuff. And then you're going to pass it on to the next generation. And it's just going to keep going and going and going. And somebody needs to stop this. And it's up to each one of us individually to do that. It ain't going to happen by me. It ain't going to happen with my word. It has to be with each person. I'm only one guy. I am one guy that is out here speaking into a microphone at 3 o'clock in the morning. You know, I know that I'm not doing so much, but I'm one guy. I'm one person. Now, if each person would do this, if each person would come to this conclusion, if each person would admit this to themselves and would say, okay, yes, I was doing these things and all of this can happen, and you would understand and realize this stuff, then we could move on from all that dumb shit. And we could actually say, okay, well, while we're here on this earth, while we're still alive and while we still have our health and we can move, how can we help one another? How can we improve our situation while we're here? What can we do to be creative in ways where we're not talking about violence towards each other, or going to war, or killing each other, or splattering somebody's brains, or all this shit that tough guys talk about because they think they're tough, and they're not tough. There is no such thing as being tough. It's just all in your imagination. It's imaginations that were passed down from other ignorant men. All these rappers and hip-hop artists that, you know, and I'm not saying it's every single verse that was ever spoke. I'm not saying it was every single song. But most of the time, all it is these perverted, twisted, nasty, bad, violent imaginations that they had, and they told you and they spoke it to you, and the beat had you under hypnosis. The sounds got you involved, and then it brought you in, and then they told you this message and you believed it and you took it in and it went into you, and you're still believing it to this day. You're still going by that kind of stuff, and it's a dead message. It's a dead message. There's no life there. There's no nothing there that can help one another out. There's nothing there that can solve anything here while we're here. There's no type of productivity or saying, hey, how can we do this thing to make this better? How can we make it so that, you know, things don't have to be in such pain and suffering? How can we put that to an end? And how can we just make people have a vibe for the music instead of saying these lyrics that have no substance, that have no meaning, that have no value at all? How can we do those things? Is anybody using their brain on matters like this? I mean, am I the only one here? Because if I'm the only one, that's how you know that mankind is just completely thrown off. I mean, if this doesn't even come into your thoughts, then you must have been around these types of people your whole life. And like I said, I had to get away on my own. I had to get away from everybody. I had to stop being influenced by other people. I had to quit being influenced by popular music and the music on the radio and people telling me things. I had to stop being influenced, and I had to stop listening to the crowd of people that thinks that these types of things are cool, and I had to get away from them. I had to completely get away from everybody, and I did that. And when I did that, I finally seen all this for what it really was. And I don't want to ever be a part of it again. I want nothing to do with it. Nothing at all. Excuse me. It's just like, say that you're somewhere where all of this stuff exists. All the drama, all the violent music, all the same gossip, all the same destruction and bad characteristics. Say that you were in that situation and then someone drove you away for a year and you completely cleared your mind of that. And then a year later, they put you in the same van and then they went and they drove you slowly there. And as you're going there, you're like, I haven't been around this for so long. I've been away from that for so long, and I don't even want to be around that no more. And they take you to that same spot where all that stuff was, and they open the door, and right when you open the door, you can hear that song playing. Bang, bang, shot you down. Yeah, I shot you down. Bang, bang, shot you down. Yeah, I shot you down. Man's pride, man's ignorance. Woo, woo, woo. You hear gunshots, the ambulances. You're trying to get out the car, but you hear that. And you're like, oh my goodness, I don't know if I can get out of the car. I don't want any of this. And then here comes the people that you used to know, gossiping. Oh yeah, where you been at? Yeah, where you been at? What, you think you better than us now? Oh yeah, you think you got it all together, right? Oh, what, you left your boys? You left your hood? You left your community? Oh, what, you left the people? And you're like, oh my gosh, bro. This is insane. Like, I can't get out of this van. Please, hurry up, drive off. But the driver is like, oh well, this is where we're dropping you off at. And I'm like, dude. And then you're about to shut the door, and then you realize all that stuff that was causing all the problems, and how many people are returning to those things when they get out of jail, when they go into a rehab, when they clear their mind of something. They go right back to all of the old stuff. They go right back to the old people that they were hanging with. They go right back to the old music they were listening to. They go right back to all the old drama, all the old lingo, all the old beef, all the old gangs, all the old, wherever you were, environments. And me, I don't want to go back to any environment. I'm willing to create my own environment. I'm willing to create something new here from scratch. And I'm not saying that it's going to be shiny. I'm not saying that it's going to be gold because your gold is cankered. I'm not saying that it's going to be something exhilarating all the time, because I'm not lying to myself and I'm not lying to other people. Don't you understand? So many things in this world, is dead. It's dead. And why are we not at least attempting? I don't even want to use the word attempt. It's like, why do we keep returning to these things? Because we think that that's all there is to return to. A lot of people think that they don't know nothing else. It's like, this is all that I ever known. It's like somebody that was in a gang, you try to get them away from it and they go, this is all I ever known. You try to get somebody that has been listening to junk their whole life. That's all I've ever known. You try to get the person that shot heroin up for 20 years. It's all I've ever known. And there's got to be something else for us. And that is something, even through my trials and tribulations and my mental breakdowns and me feeling completely and utterly broken and pulverized by this, because I have empathy for this thing. It's like, I'm looking for something new, something fresh to start with, something that is not like everything else, something that is different from all of this insanity that we keep going back to. If I'm gonna barf up all this nasty shit, why am I gonna go back to the shit that I just barfed up from? It's just like an alcoholic that drinks and they're drinking the poison and they keep drinking it and they get sicker and sicker and sicker and they fucking puke. Then the next day they're going and getting another bottle because they don't know nothing else. And who is going to be there to... This is what I'm saying, is where are there people like this? Is there anybody else that is thinking outside of the box of all these things? Is there anybody? Is there anybody? And the more that I wonder about this, the more that I kind of sink in my own sand, because I realize there's nothing to return to. There's nowhere to go that I don't hear this same monotonous ignorance. There's nowhere to go where I don't hear people talking about this violent shit, that I don't hear people bragging about money and they overdo, they over-sexualize, they over-complicate everything. It's like they're trying so hard to be something. They're trying so hard to get views and get clout and be famous and be popular and have people look up to them. And just look at what people are doing for this shit. And I know me, I'm just dead to it all. I'm dead to it all. I'm completely dead to it, but I see it for what it is. And it's like I said, I can't leave this undone. It just feels like it's so undone. It feels like there is nobody stepping into that hole or stepping into that place or stepping in the middle of all of these people that don't know what they're doing to one another. And I'm the one that is stepping in between, even though I don't want to step in between. But I just keep seeing this shit and I say, where are the people at? Where are the people that are not cowards? Where are the people that will speak up for goodness and will speak up for clarity and will speak up for something to maybe live for while we're here, that will speak up for something besides all of this absurd just ignorance and foolishness and everything else? Like, where are the people that are on that? And I just, all the time, I feel like I am walking this thing. I feel like I am talking this thing. And you know what? I am doing this alone. And I am alone doing this. And I just have to accept that. Because I can't make anybody else see what I see. I can't make anybody else talk about what I do. And I don't want to. I don't want to force anybody. And I'm not going to. And I'm not going to tell anybody to do anything at all. But I wonder. I really, really wonder. I wonder, how could we have got to this after hundreds and thousands of years of mankind existing? How in the hell are we still doing all of this ignorant shit? Going to war, talking about shooting each other, harming our own people, selling drugs to our own community that kills them and destroys everything, and people are robbing people's houses and committing all these crimes. How are we still doing this shit? It's because there's not enough people speaking up about stuff. It's because there's too many cowards. There's too many people that want to hide from everything. And nobody wants to even speak about it. I mean, at least we could be speaking about stuff. I'm not saying you got to be out on the front lines and you have to be going into ghettos and the suburbs and high schools and all this, and talking to the kids and the high school students or people wherever they are, whatever environment it is. I'm not saying that you have to go do that. But it's like, my goodness gracious, you hear so few people mentioning this stuff. You hear so few people that are actually being so brutally honest that you know that somebody is going to take this probably the wrong way when it's not intended to be taken the wrong way. It's because I care for my health and my well-being, and I care for my life while I am here. But most people, they don't even care for themselves. They don't give a shit about themselves or other people. And at least me saying something, at least I might change the mind of somebody. I mean, I might get through to one of y'all out there. Because realistically, I do care about you as a person, but I can't care for you because I'm not where you're at. I'm not you. I can't live anybody's life. I can't make anybody do anything or realize anything. It's just through my words. That's all it is. It's just words. It's just me speaking about things that I know that are possible, things that have happened to me, things that I went through, things that I've seen for myself, things that I've heard and witnessed and looked into for myself. So that's how I can tell you about it, is because I did all this. I'm not telling you anything I haven't did or I haven't done or that I haven't learned from or anything. I'm not telling you anything that I haven't done myself. So that's why it's like I'm really not even speaking to you. I'm speaking to myself about this and reminding myself about it. And that's what each person has to do. They have to remind themselves. Nobody can remind anybody for anybody. Nobody can listen unless they want to listen. Nobody can have knowledge unless they choose to accept the knowledge, if they choose to let it in and they choose to be open to that fact. You can't force this upon anybody. You can't say this is what you have to do or this is what you should do, because it doesn't work like that. People are they're too stubborn. They're too prideful. They have too much of a know-it-all attitude. And this is what is causing this, is so many things in this day and age. It's causing everybody to look at one another like they're their enemies. It's causing everybody to be paranoid of one another. It's causing everybody to hate one another. It's causing everybody to say, oh, well, you're not my brother. You're not my family, so I'm looking at you like you're a target. You know, you're against me. And yet again, this is the spell that they got y'all under. Are you understanding what I'm saying here? I'm not just speaking to speak here. This is for the well-being of us as people. Do you want that? Do you want well-being? Do you want to kind of get away from some of the chaos? Do you want there to not be violence? Do you want to not see your brother or your sister get shot and killed? Do you not want to prevent bad shit from happening to someone like yourself? And these are only questions that we can ask to ourselves. But some people, they won't remember. They'll go to sleep, they'll wake up, they'll completely forget about it, and they'll go on with the same exact vomit. It'll build up, it'll build up, it'll build up. They'll barf, and then they'll go, oh, I gotta go back to that again. I have to try again. I gotta push the rock up the hill again. I have to try to be cool again for my homeboys and the people I know. I gotta look like I'm tough. I can't let anybody in. I can't tell anybody how I'm really feeling because they're going to look at me like I'm a coward, like I'm weak, like, oh, what are you doing? You can't do that. You can't go outside of what we're doing here. This is what I mean. That's why I had to get away from everybody. I had to get away from the influence of mankind absolute and be by myself completely and totally. And I'm so glad that I did it. Even though it was a rough time and I went through some really shitty days, I'm glad that I did it, because it showed me so much about this world and mankind and nature and how everything works and the way that we are and history. And I just looked at it all and seen it for what it was. And we just keep repeating the same stuff. Don't we understand? We're just repeating the same ignorance, the same dramas, the same gossips, the same shit that goes wrong, and then we're surprised. We're surprised when something goes wrong. We're in shock. We act like we didn't know what we were doing. I'm sorry, but I see right through all that shit. I see right through all that stuff. You ain't fooling somebody that was the biggest fool. You can't fool someone that was absolutely ignorant and learned from all this shit. You can't fool somebody like that. You can fool a fool. You can convince someone that you have magical powers and that, you know, God spoke to you and you got some kind of spiritual enlightenment and you have something that someone else does. You can tell that to people that are deceived, that don't know any better. You can put that in on them. You can convince that with them. You're not going to put it over on me because I know better. And it just ain't going to happen. It's just impossible. Once you have that seed in you that is in you and it has grown and it's just in the fiber of your being, there's no way that you can return to the shit that was messing you up or keeping you bound or keeping you sick or keeping you ignorant or keeping you violent, keeping you angry, keeping you hateful. You can't return to that shit because it's dead. It's dead with you. But most people, they're attempting to bring it back to life. They're attempting to keep it going. They're attempting to put all of their power into this basket of pride, into this basket of striving and saying that I'm better than everybody. I'm going to be more than this person. I'm going to be rich and famous. And I'm telling you, this is why, I don't know if I'm going to name the video that about, this is why being rich is stupid. It's ignorant. Nobody in the world should be rich because money is the root of all kinds of evils. And that's the truth. It is. It is. That saying is absolutely right. Whether we know it or not, whether we admit it, whether we're in denial of it, I don't care. But no man needs a bunch of money. No man or woman needs a bunch of money. Look what happens because of money. Just look at all the things in history that have happened because of power, money, fame, fortune, wanting to be king, wanting to be the leader of the people. Look at all the bad shit that happens. But most of y'all, you don't even know about history. You never even looked into Julius Caesar and Nero and all the emperors and all the, just everything that you can possibly look into. I've already looked into it. I've already did it. And I'm telling you, when you do this, you will never be the same. That's all I can say. So with that, I'm done. Take care of yourselves because you're the only one that can take care of yourself. August 29th, 2022. Later on. Think about it. That's all. Think before you act. Cause as least screaming horror as you possibly can. That's all we can do. It's all I can do. It's all you can do. But do you want to do it? That's the question. Do we want to do it? That's the main question. Over and out. The crickets. The crickets.